Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video will be all about how to approach a shoot with someone who has no idea what they're doing in front of the camera. So things like how to start it off, posing, positive reinforcement, all of the things. Let's just get right into it. I asked you guys on the community tab of my YouTube channel what video you would like to see from me next, and this one had the most votes, so I'm here to deliver. I also feel like a lot of people don't really know about that tab on YouTube, and I'm always posting before and afters and polls and behind the scenes, so definitely feel free to check it out. But yeah, at this point in my career as a photographer, I'm pretty much exclusively working with models and subjects that know kind of their light and their posing, but that doesn't mean I'm just silently taking photos the whole time. As a photographer, you know, you're kind of the director of the whole photo shoot, so I'm always making comments and suggestions when I'm shooting with a model, even if they know what they're doing. But today's video, we're gonna kind of scratch that off and approach the situation like we're shooting with someone, who has no idea what to do. So whenever I kind of conduct a shoot with someone who's never been in front of the camera before, I always start by trying to make the whole experience way less stressful and uncomfortable. So I always try and make some comments like, just pretend we're kind of just at brunch. We're taking iPhone photos, because basically everyone has done that in their lives. Come on. There's so many instances where cameras are involved, so you've more than likely not been in front of a camera, and I know it's awkward and weird, but I think approaching a shoot like it's just a very chill and low-key thing really helps people who don't know what they're doing. I also think it's super important to talk through with your model your own personal process as a photographer before you start taking any photos at all. When you're going into a shoot as a creator, you kind of know what you want to get out of it, but a model showing up to your location or studio, they might not have any idea unless you are there telling them. And whatever photos you're going to be taking on your shoot day can't happen without the model involved, so you really want to keep them in the know and approach it like you're a team. So for me, I usually preface that I like to take photos pretty quickly. I like to have my camera at a fast shutter speed so I can capture movements in between, and that's because I just always like to capture more than what I think I'll need, because honestly, some of my favorite photos come about by just my model maybe adjusting their hair behind their ear, or maybe they're just moving their arm. And this sometimes can be a little bit jarring for someone who's just starting out, so you definitely want to communicate exactly what you're doing. So starting out your shoot, you can have your subject maybe move their hair behind their ear, maybe they're crossing their arms, just have them kind of move a lot, and these little adjustments of maybe folding their arms and unfolding their arms makes the subject feel like they have a little bit more purpose than just standing there and feeling super awkward in just one specific spot. So I always think adjustments are a great way to start off a shoot. Once again, the model is feeling a little bit more fluid and more comfortable, but also if you catch them in a position that looks really good on camera, you can tell them to hold it there and then capture that one singular pose from different angles or lighting. And this is always fun because I know I'll get really excited about a pose that a model's doing, and I'll just be like, hold it there. And then you can tell that they want to like hold back their excitement because it's looking good. Positive reinforcement is always the best thing. Sometimes maybe even more important than the posing itself, because if the subject feels uncomfortable, it's definitely going to show across on camera. Also, a huge thing is to tell your model where exactly you're shooting from. So are you shooting a full body portrait? Are you shooting waist up? Are you just getting their face? Once again, you as a photographer may know exactly what you want to get out of this shoot and what you're seeing in your camera, but the model has no idea. And not everyone knows about lenses, so if I'm shooting with a 105mm and I'm like yards away, it may look like I'm shooting a full body portrait, but in reality I'm just getting the face. So you need to tell your subject exactly what is in frame so they can focus on what to do with their arms and their legs. And for starting out your shoot, it could be helpful to just shoot waist up for now, because I always feel like once I'm on a shoot, we both definitely get a little bit more comfortable as we go on. It might take, 15 minutes or 30 minutes to find the kind of groove, but I always find that maybe like portrait shots of just the chest up feel a little bit less scary, and it may be a good point to start on your shoot that day. This kind of thing also affects wardrobe, because I know for me, a lot of the time, I really like to just capture like the waist up, and that means we don't really have to focus on the pants or the shoes. Once again, just go into your shoot knowing what you want and communicating that properly to the person you're shooting. Because honestly, other than having maybe wardrobe and makeup there, it's your job to make them look good. In between these different poses and locations and lighting that you may be using, it's also super important to show your model exactly what you're shooting. And you both want to walk away happy with these photos, and you might be happy with them, but if they don't look their best and feel their best in these, that's just not how you want to walk away from a shoot. I also want you guys to go into your shoots with keeping your environment in mind. For example, are you shooting at a beach or maybe in the mountains or at a studio? And this will not only affect the posing, but also, the wardrobe, the makeup. What is the entire vibe of the shoot? And locations can play a really big part. For example, if I'm shooting in the desert at sunset, I might offer poses that feel a little bit more carefree and whimsical. So asking my subject to maybe like dance around and wave their arms, compared to if I was shooting in a studio, I wouldn't normally ask them to do that. I would maybe ask for more concrete poses that feel a little bit more high fashion or editorial. So that's kind of my go-to advice when starting out a shoot with someone who may not know what they're doing. But I also want to offer you some sort of more static poses that you can maybe reference when you don't exactly know what to do next. Do you want the model sitting, standing? Are you involving props that the model can maybe interact with? In the end, it's obviously all up to you here. I just hope these little tips maybe make it a little bit easier on you when you don't know what to do next. So let's maybe rapid fire some poses that you could reference. Let's go. A good way to start off is by having the model cross their arms. This is a great base to work off of because from here they can reach up to their face or their chin, all while you should direct them to shift their weight to each side. This helps add more dimensions to the overall frame instead of just having them, just stand flat. If your model is still in a standing position from the crossed arms, they could also move their hands down to their pocket. And this actually works well if it's just kind of half of their hand in a way. This way their elbows can kind of lay behind them or to the side, and this way we create more shapes. Think your biggest fear being them just standing super straight, still, flat in front of you. Anything that creates these different shapes and proportions is exactly what we want. From this position, they can move their hands to their hips, but maybe their palms are inwards. And from there, they can kind of move their elbows around, outwards to the side of them, or even towards you as the photographer. You can also do all of these types of poses while they walk side to side, or maybe even towards you. Make sure to kind of keep it soft. You could also direct them to smile, or maybe look surprised or as if they just found out some exciting news. And with directing someone to have a specific emotion, it definitely feels a little bit weird, but that's exactly when you should come in and capture the shot. Whenever I'm in front of the camera, I'll almost do a pretend walk in place, and that way I can remain in focus. A lot of the times with these walking shots, nailing the focus definitely seems to be an issue. So having them stay where they are and fake it definitely seems to do the trick. You can also repeat all of these, but have your model turn to the side. As you can see across my Instagram, I absolutely love shooting someone's side profile. For me, it just seems a little bit more interesting. And from here, as their bodies turned away from you to the side, they can also look over their shoulder at you. I also love a simple reaching out to the camera pose. I do this a ton throughout my photos as well, but it definitely works best if the model can portray a particular facial expression that is a bit more edgy in a way. As much as I love shooting with all of these poses, the subject's facials are almost just as important. Some easy favorites are looking off to the side, looking down, or even closing the eyes. You could direct them to do a soft smile or even a laugh, which definitely can be a bit tough. I've noticed that this works best if it's candid. So if you are talking about something funny or you're, making a joke, just be sure to be behind the camera, ready to capture it whenever it does happen. Another tip here is to have your subject play with whatever outfit they may have on. This doesn't always work, but if they're wearing some sort of flowy dress or a long piece of fabric, they can grab it, swing it, or twirl it. Just using your resources and what already is available to you. If you want to crop in more and just shoot some close-up facial shots, it helps a lot to have your model relax their shoulders and open their mouth just a bit. From here, you can direct them to frame their face with their hands, bringing up their hands to almost trace around their face while you just continue to shoot. And if you're looking to capture some full body shots, it helps if the model can either sit down or sit on something like a stool. From here, they can kind of differentiate their legs by having one straight and one a bit bent. Once again, just creating more structure and shape. And I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe took a few things away from it that you can incorporate into your next photo shoot. Or maybe you're even a model watching this and hopefully it'll be helpful for you moving into your next shoot as well. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things at Woelfel. And I'll see you soon. Bye guys.